Okay, so I have cut my piece of vinyl. I have measured it. I do often like doing this upside down just because it's a little bit easier to see where you need to put your piece. In this case, I need, actually this is just about right. Place it down, flip it over. And then we start the smoothing. And you can already see this is where the edge is, but you can already start to see the shape starting to glue down. Now you got to be careful because sometimes you get air bubbles, which you can, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, now you can see them. Okay, air bubbles happen. This is a fact of life. This is okay. We can fix that. In this case, they're air bubbles actually because this is where the princess motto goes. But we can still push those down. So as you go, you just gently friction it down. Now we get to the more interesting part, which is the part where you have to start sculpting it. This is where the heat comes in. So this, I believe, is called Purple Psycho for reasons I don't quite understand, but we'll go with it. That's just the name of the color. They come up with interesting names for these things. Now, apologies for any noise that might happen. So in terms of heat guns, after many tries, this is the one that I've settled on. It's oddly enough Vivid, which is the same brand as the vinyl that I use. It just happens to be not expensive, and that's the type that I liked. This one, you have 2 speed settings, and you also see what the temperature is. So as you can see, the temperature is going up. Apologies for any noise that you might hear. Now, I can show you on this part first. So you can start to see it's already dimpling and healing. This is the part that I love about the vinyl. It is so forgiving. You can screw it up 6 ways to Sunday, and it will still not hit you at the end of the day. Now you can see here a little dimple is forming. That's okay. I'm just going to leave that as it is for now. And you can actually see this is already forming on its own over the part, which is actually amazing. This is what vinyl does. It just relaxes and it heals, and you can literally screw this up 11 different times and it will come together 12 times for you. So in this case, it's mostly pulling and stretching down because you don't want to see any wrinkles. And this does require a lot of heating and retreating. But as you can see, sorry about my finger, it does slowly start to take the proper shape, which is what you want. You want the proper shape. And as I said, it's incredibly forgiving, this material. So, I mean, I've tried paint. Paint does not work on me. Paint and I do not get along, apparently, very well. So, let's reheat this area right here. And you can see it just folds right down. It just relaxes amazingly well. I don't give it too much of a heat treatment because I don't want it to over relax, because if it over relaxes, it can form more wrinkles. Even though you can heal the wrinkles, it's just a lazy person's thing. I don't like having to heal them too often. But as you can see, that's gluing down very nicely on the edge. And then I'll take a little bit more down here. Now, because there's a curve right here, I don't need to overly massage this as long as I can make sure that it will go straight. So what I will do is I will pull back a little bit. Again, this is the reheat. This is the healing thing. See, look at that. Amazingly forgiving material. And I just pull it down straight, gently teasing along the way. It's not flirtatious, I don't think that's the right word for it, but it requires a bit of coaxing, but you can even just use your fingers. Now, this is also part that nobody's ever going to see because it faces the inside of the typewriter, but I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I like to make things look really good. And once you're happy with where you are, again, it does take a bit of work. And you can see here, some parts of it don't like to play well with others, so we're gonna, not quite, hang on, we gotta fix this a bit more. There we go, that's better. Straight and curved. Just in like that. Now, because this heats up really quickly, the good news is that I don't have to hold the vinyl for very long before it takes the proper shape. So it minimizes the scorching on my hands, let's put it that way. Come on, baby, look good for the camera. Just a little bit better. Now, sometimes you can just ease these bubbles out with your fingers. Sometimes you can't, but I'll show you how I finish this curve. Now that I have softened up the edges, and you do need to press down on the curves because otherwise bubbles will form on the edges. And then it just doesn't look quite right. But there we go. That's a curve right there. And you can see it folds out quite nicely on the inside here. And gradually, as I do more down along, of course, this will get pulled down. But that will give you a general sense of at least one of the corners. And